Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We got a good one for you. On today's show, death in Gaza. The new embassy is open in Jerusalem, and peace is as distant as ever. We'll take a look at the latest on the Gino Haspel vote and how some journalists are getting very rich off Donald Trump in a somewhat disturbing way. So there is that. So, we're going to get to all that stuff today. So thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Spencer Walsh. We're going to have a good show for you today on this Tuesday, one day before my birthday, in fact. So that'll be nice. And also, just for on my birthday, we will be having the show an hour later. We're still going to have the show, but we're having an hour later because I'm going to get to sleep in, baby. And it will be very nice. I will tell you that. I'm very excited for that. We're going to have that. So just be ready for it to be coming on the air at around 7:45. One of those times, depending on yesterday. Depending on how things shake out next morning. I do want to take a look at this, and the reason why I chose to kind of do a New York Times article here, kind of unfiltered, is because I want to really see how they write it. And honestly, I have a problem already with the headline. So here's what it is. It says, "Death in Gaza, new embassy in Jerusalem, and peace distant as ever." Well, all those are true. I think it should be a little bit more clear, especially the first part, because death in Gaza, it makes you seem like, what, did people just randomly drop dead in Gaza? I mean, that's a reasonable assumption based on this headline, because it just does not tell you anything, and that's the one problem I have with it right away, because, I mean, you're supposed to say what the actual correct headline would be, thank you very much, would be this: IDF kills 58 at Palestine Border. Palestine Border, and surprise, surprise, that's the headline of this podcast, but whatever. So there is that little important thing there to clarify. As across the Gaza Strip on Monday, David M. Halbfinger explains, loudspeakers on minarets urge Palestinians to rush to the fence bordering Israel, where they're met with army snipers. 58 were killed and thousands were injured, local officials said, the worst day of carnage since Israel invaded Gaza in 2014. Hours later, a beaming Ivanka Trump helped unveil a stone marker etched with her father's name on the new American embassy in Jerusalem, keeping his campaign promise to officially acknowledge Jerusalem as Israel's capital. An audience of 800 religious conservatives and right-wing politicians from both countries saying hallelujah. What a glorious day, exulted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. One dead Palestinian. It was really quite a weird situation all day yesterday because of the fact, the really repulsive dynamic of the fact that, meanwhile, while there was Israeli IDF members on the top of the fence just pretty much sniping off any Palestinian they can find, it seemed like 2,000 injured here. They're only able to get 60 of them. 58 to be precise. It's like, what is this world that we are living in? Just 50 miles away, some of the richest people in these two countries were sitting there, Sheldon Adelson, all the rest, sitting there clapping, eating nice things, drinking some nice champagne, and relaxing, and pretty much being like, yeah, that's cool. We are going to we're just gonna chill. I mean, that's pretty much where it was. I mean, people just wanted to chill out. People just wanted to flaunt their wealth in their face over there. But meanwhile, IDF was practically picking off these violent Palestine people. And I mean, it's almost comparable to what the Jews went through, which makes it kind of inexplicable. I mean, if they know their own history here, why are they doing this to them? So we know why Christians are doing it. We know why Donald Trump and the American politicians take such an interested in it. People like Lindsey Graham, people like Mike Huckabee, those type of people, because they believe it will return. It will lead in the second coming of Christ because of something called the end times prophecy. So they believe, and there's 11 steps to this end times prophecy here. We will look at that. So I mean, there's a bunch of big situations. It's not about politics with these people, but yeah, we are. I do want to take if you just take a look here at pretty much the 11 steps. It is a very scary situation that there is, because there's like the end time ministries, and we're going to look at the prophecy. So pretty much I will tell you what it is here, and it's a Christian thing that they all believe in, and it's 11 steps. I know that, and that's the motivation. And we will tell you. I'm going to try to find that here, but pretty much the point is that's the motivation. That's what they're coming into behind this. This is the American politicians, Mike Huckabee, Lindsey Graham. They want to see some major possibility of Christ returning, which among other things, it features invasion of Israel by Iran and Russia through an alliance, and Christ rising to cast his enemies out into the fire, into the fiery lake or something like that. It's just really crazy stuff. So pretty much what they want to do is trigger Judgment Day, and then people who are psychos who want a whole war with the world just because they think Christ is going to come back in Judgment Day and they will be freed. I mean, this is literally like we have the craziest Christian evangelicals running our country and running our world into the ground here, if you think about it, because we all know this is not going to happen. Like, let's be real about this. Yeah, I mean, so Bible nuts today are just freaking out. Yeah, it's just people are freaking out today. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much. It's going to be a big deal, and this is going to be one of the steps. This is going to be one of the steps of the prophecy. It's going to be a key part to helping another step go by in this situation that will be incredibly important to trigger this whole end time prophecy. That's the reason why they are involved in this situation. So, yeah, as we know, for generations, both sides of the conflict have been locked in competing, mutually negating agreements, with only sporadic flickers of hope for peace, despite the efforts of a long list of presidents and secretaries of state. And pretty much what this shows you is they have given up on peace. The Israelis have pretty much given up on peace. They're for peace. What they always wanted to do is they wanted a war, they wanted to fight, and they valued Palestinians as pretty much dirt, basically dirt, and it really just kind of shows the way that they were treated, and it's really kind of disgraceful, pretty much, and it's the big problem with what we see here. It really is a big problem with what we see here today, and it's just like, what in the world is going on with these people? Like, Israel, I know they want it, but like we know, like, do you know your history? Like, that's what I have to ask when I see people carrying out these horrible acts of violence in the name of Israel, and it's the Israeli government who's doing that. It feels they've given up on peace. They just want blood at this point, and they want the blood of Palestinians. Yeah, so excuse me. Yeah, now with the militant Hamas movement hanging on to control of Gaza and Netanyahu backed by President Trump, neither side is even listening to the other, and the Palestinians have lumped the United States together with Israel as an overt adversary. I mean, that's literally an overt adversarial move, though, the United States made. You have to keep that in mind. This is an overt adversarial move by moving the embassy to Jerusalem, there will be no chance the Palestinians are not going to be pretty mad at us for that, because it's literally, that's kind of how it's going to work when you do something that Israel has directly been asking the U.S. to do for years, and just like a new president pops in office and say, okay, I mean, like they're not going to view you as a friend after you do that, the Palestinians, and nor should they, because you did not do something that's a friendly move for them. It's just kind of how it works here. It's just the sensical. It's just a sensical solution here. Responsibility for the violence rested squarely with Hamas for intentionally and cynically provoking Israel by urging Palestinians to storm the border fence. Israel had the right to defend itself. Who said that? No, not a crazy right-wing media personality. No, it wasn't Ben Shapiro, Mr. Israelis live in open or Arabs live in open sewage, and they like to bomb crap. Settlements rock guy. This was not him. This was not him at all. This was, in fact, Raj Shah, White House spokesman, and I want to blow my brains out after listening to this utter idiot say words. Like, what are you talking about here? This was their... it rests squarely with Hamas. These people were unarmed. They were protesting peacefully. Is this how you're going to represent this? Is this how you're going to represent this here? Like, what are you talking about, my guy? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, intentionally and cynically provoking Israel by urging Palestinians to storm the border fence. I mean, you literally... People are protesting. People are saying their opinions, which is literally... People are literally just offering themselves to get put on the border, and Israel's like, how can I resist? And it does not rest squarely with Hamas. There was no violence. There was no violence whatsoever in these protests. That's the important thing to remember throughout the day, and possible more interactions tomorrow. Because, I mean, the Palestinians, they're not effing around. They're going to do this tomorrow, and they're going to do this again. I mean, these people, they do not have control over their own economy. They don't have control over their own nation or their own lives. It's pretty much the largest open-air prison. I mean, Noam Chomsky has said that. It's pretty much the largest open-air prison in the world. And, I mean, you gotta... When you look at things here, I mean, it just looks like you gotta agree. It's quite staggering. So two sides were in equally different worlds when speaking of how the embassy would affect the more-abound peace process. Palestinians who hope to see the eastern part of Jerusalem as the capital of a Palestinian state see the embassy move as an abdication of any vestige of American impartiality in determining the region's future. Since Trump has announced the move in December, Palestinian leaders flatly rejected the idea of peace talks under American auspices. But when Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, predicted that when there is peace in this region, we will look back this day, and we will remember that the journey to peace started with the strong America recognizing the truth. Pretty much peace could come a variety of different ways. That seems like where their head is at this point. The Americans on the right wing side of things, including Jared Kushner. I mean, it just seems like they're like, oh yeah, peace could come in a variety of different ways. You could be wiped off the face of the earth. There could be Judgment Day. There could be a bunch and a host of other things. By the way, pictures on the Palestinian side of the border fence with all the smoke and all the people running and the people dying, that did look a lot like Judgment Day. I will tell you that. It was just pretty much an open-air massacre in an open-air prison provided by the Israelis here. Really, really disgraceful stuff. And to top it all off, the White House invited the pastor who said Jews are going to hell, led the prayer at the Jerusalem embassy opening, and someone who said Hitler fulfilled God's will started off by saying the benediction. Like, that's literally